What the heck is up, guys? Thrush here. Just wanted to make a quick video. I tried to stream the other night and get some of the other guys from Identity in on the stream to talk about the pros and cons of the Taken King so far, and what it's going to mean for Destiny in the future, and why I think it's probably things are going to have to be massively overhauled again. And I really had hoped they wouldn't have to be. But I don't think this system as they have it now works. Because what'll happen down the road, and I mean, I was never a WoW player, so I haven't experienced like a 10-year long MMO type thing. So maybe I'm just totally wrong on this, and I could be corrected down the road. But the one thing that I always connect this game to is Borderlands, because Borderlands had multiple DLCs, had multiple characters, huge skill trees. The only thing they didn't really have on this game was they didn't have PvP. So PvP aside for the moment, let's just talk about PvE and what it's gonna mean. So where I see the big problem now is I don't. There is, other than for saying, "Hey, I did everything." There's no reason right now for new players to play Year 1 at all, or to care about Year 1. The Year 1 exotics are useless. The raid weapons are useless. The armor is useless. It just doesn't make sense to me that they would leave some of the hardest things to get in a place where they became unusable. And I mean, in their defense with stuff like Gallahorn, what they said was, "Oh, the Gallahorn is taking over the game. We want to give people options to use other stuff. They can't always just use the Gallahorn to beat everything." That's fine. That's great. But I guarantee you, if you had left Gallahorn in this version of it and gave them swords, and the exotic swords are really, really good. And I mean, I know they're exotic, which is a downside. Oh no, the Gallahorn was exotic. Never mind. I'm just clouding on. But the swords are really good, and I'd see it like the swords were my close range option for super high damage heavy, and the Gallahorn was my long range option for super high damage heavy. Um, and the pros versus the cons of those, hey, Gallahorn, only really a couple shots. Yes, they do a lot of damage, but you don't have that much ammo for them. Versus the swords, where you have a ton of ammo with the swords. I mean, even using the exotic ability on all of them, I never feel like I'm running out of ammo for the most part, which is nice, which is how it really should be. And I just screwed up. I was supposed to kill that stupid Minotaur with this damn thing. Sorry. Okay. So yeah, back to the point. So the big problem really becomes now is if I'm a new Destiny player, why should I bother playing Year 1? Because, to be perfectly honest, getting a level 170 is going to be good basically up until you start Taken King, and then all of a sudden your 170 is going to look like crap. I mean, when I started my new Titan and I used Spark of Light to do it, mainly because I was curious more than anything to see what it was like. I used what did I use? I used some of my Prison of Elders stuff because it was 170, and I used and seeing his stuff as like the exotic sword, which I don't understand. The exotic sword being level 30 doesn't make sense to me. It seems like a lot of and the black spindle being level 30 seems to me like a lot of the, I guess, quest base exotics are level 30. Um, which seems a little weird to me, and that leads me into my other point is, since they're transitioning now to a majority of the exotics being quest based and not drop based, yet they increase drop chances on all our stuff. I'm getting repeats of a lot of stuff. Like, I've gotten now 3 Crest of Alpalupi for Hunter. I have 2 Crest of Alpalupi for my Titan. It just is. It's getting crazy. Like, why not make it both? So if you say happen to get lucky and you drop a 290 or a 295 Boolean Gemini off a boss, why can't that be a good thing? Why do I have to get Queens rank 3? Which, by the way, is near impossible now because there's no Queen's bounties daily. There's the Queen's bounties weekly after you finish the big long Taken Queen quest. So for people like me that said, hey, the Queen is useless and ignored her for all of year one for the most part, we're getting shafted and it's going to take me a long time to unlock my Boolean Gemini. Which is, it's too bad because from what I hear, it's a half decent weapon. It's fun to use. And I'd like to be able to say I have all the exotics. But I probably won't get it. Same with stuff like the last word quest, like the chaperone. Why can't the chaperone drop from the raid or from the raid on hard or anything along those lines? It doesn't make sense to me that they would exclude exotics from the drop table just to make them bounty based exotics. And while it's interesting and does progress the story somewhat, like the No Time to Explain, which is sort of the the Stranger's Rifle progression, which is cool. I really like that. That's great. So if they're going to do that, why would they not say give us a week of bounty things and then next week put No Time to Explain in the drop tables? That to me makes sense because there's going to be people, and I have a few friends that play only Crucible and will never really play PvE, that will miss out on those quests and the chances at those weapons, mainly because of how they play. And yeah, I mean, playing just Crucible doesn't give you the whole Destiny experience, but people like what they like. I never played the COD campaigns after Black Ops 1 because I didn't find them interesting and I didn't find them relevant to the game. So I would much rather just spend my time learning the mechanics and learning all that stuff. It was made more sense to me. So I'd like to see that sort of thing changed. The next thing comes down to raids and why do we still have all these raids? They essentially, so what they did in year 2, they nerfed the knife call completely, where they took away our ability to get extra bonus XP from the knife call, which I think was a poor decision. Because that way people there was a very clear way where if you completed this very hard mission, the rest of your week, you're going to get a bonus for having done that really hard thing. And hey, if you're not raid ready, this can help get you raid ready. Now the Nightfall is really just some extended, slightly more difficult heroic strike. Which is too bad because it used to be great. They're supposed to be adding better loot drops as of this update, which is October 21st. So hopefully things change come this update or the update that's upcoming. I'm not sure when exactly it's coming out, but we'll have to see. And the other thing is the old raids and the weapons and stuff you get from there. Why, for example, is my Vex Mythoclast not able to be in year 2? Sure, it was strong, but like the Gallahorn, instead of trying to nerf everything and saying, hey, we can't bring these weapons with us into the next year, what they should have said is let's hold ourselves to a higher standard and make a variety of weapons that people want to use, and not just these like, hey, here's our 2 base models of pulse rifle, or you have the Icebreaker style sniper versus the Vision of Confluence style sniper. What they need to do is they need to really adopt, I think, a Borderlands type mentality and give us that massive infographic with hundreds and hundreds of weapons with completely random spawns. Like, why can't I get a randomly spawning 3-chambered Hawkmoon with luck in the chamber? Like that would be amazing. And hey, if it's not 300 yet, that's gonna give me a reason to really grind it and get it up there. Because guess what? Our Hawkmoons are not created equal, and that's fine because I've spent time finding my perfect Hawkmoon, so to speak. So I'd like to see that sort of approach taken to everything, Right now, it seems like they very much have just some cookie cutter weapons with skins. Not to mention the raid weapons this time around, at least on normal, are kind of bad. Like I actually infused my raid hand cannon into my class exotic hand cannon because it was just so bad. The reload was terrible. The range was terrible. The only thing it really had going for it was super high impact. But if you're landing precision hits anyways, it's not really going to matter too much as long as you have some impact on there. Which is disappointing because this is the first raid. I will say they did a really good job this time around on the raid. It was fun. Everyone I've spoken to has had a really good time playing it. And nobody has too many complaints about it. But I will say that it makes warlocks, unlike the past two raids where warlocks have been sort of a big key to keeping things running smoothly. Warlocks now are basically the useless class. If you run, have I not been killing Vex Minotaurs this entire time? God damn it! Sorry guys, this is stupid. I'm gonna leave and get these things decrypted here. We'll keep chatting. But if I'm getting a raid weapon, even if it is on normal, make it the best it can be. And I mean, I know you have to balance for PvP. That's fine. Then push back Iron Banner to a much later date so you can balance everything properly once Iron Banner comes out. And let the regular PvP matching run its course. Because it will. And over time, things will balance out and figure everything out. But making these crappy subpar weapons, not to mention some of the exotics, are not anywhere near as good as their year one counterparts. And I don't know if that was because they decided that exotics shouldn't be as good as they were. But to me, it seems like they're much, much weaker than they had been in the past. Um, so that's sort of where I'm at. I guess the last thing I can leave you on and something to think about is how they're going to handle subclasses and characters in future games. Because if any of you haven't read the Kotaku article on Destiny, you should go read it. It talks about the production of the game. It's actually quite interesting and well worth your time if you have the time to read it. It's a fairly long article, but where they're talked about that the fact that they're going to a sort of a big Destiny release, so like Destiny Year One, and then instead of releasing like mini DLC like House of Wolves and all that jazz, they're going to just be releasing one big DLC package like the Taken King size sort of thing every 6 months. So like on a 2 games per year type cycle. Ooh, I finally got a better artifact. Nice. Sorry. Um. So what's gonna happen? Like, are we gonna be stuck with 3 characters with 3 subclasses each? Because I feel like at the moment, if you're a hunter, there's honestly no reason to use the other 2 in PvE anymore. They just aren't up to par with Night Stalker, so I don't know if that means they have to go back and retune the other 2 or change up some perks. And then same could be said for I mean Warlock for the most part seems okay. I think the Stormcaller needs to generate more orbs for it to be really super useful. I know it's one of the easier to use supers, but I think it could use with a little increase for that type of stuff. And I'm trying to think about Titan. The Sunbreaker is quite OP at the moment in PvP, but for PvE, I think it's a good match for him considering that his supers in the past have been quite limiting. I mean, Bubble Titan, as great as it can be for raids and as great as it can be for saving yourself, is not the most exciting thing to play solo. And like the one hammer fist thing, I've used it. It doesn't really excite me. Like it's not like the other supers that all the characters have are more exciting. That just reminds me of like a bad Halo rip kind of deal. So hopefully they can tweak it. because at the moment I have really no reason to blade dance other than in PvP or a gunslinger. Well, a little bit of gunslinger depending on the story. So hopefully they can improve, because I'd like to eventually see go up to maybe a new character with another three subclasses, something in between, like maybe two characters, one that sits in between a warlock and a titan, and one that would sit in between, say, a warlock and a hunter, or a titan and a hunter and a titan and a warlock. One of the some combination thereof. Maybe it needs another three characters. I don't know. Um, but I also think that our subclasses need to be expanded. I think our jumps. I think we need to go to five jump selections and five grenade selections to make things really interesting and to make things truly customizable. Because if you look at like 90% of Night Stalkers, unless you hate the Void Wall grenade, you're gonna run the Void Wall grenade. The Vortex grenade is it's okay. It's not great. Most enemies dodge or move or anything. So unless there's just a boss that's gonna stand still, that's not that great. And you can get almost the same amount of damage out of a Void Wall grenade if you throw it the same spot as a Vortex. A skip grenade is kind of cool. It's nothing major. The jumps are kind of useless. Like I get that the hunter jump is supposed to feel very different, but why doesn't the hunter have any of the warlock style jumps or any of the or of any of the titan jumps and vice versa? Because I think like triple jump is awesome, and makes for some really good stuff. But compared to like some of the boost jumps and floatiness that the other classes get, it seems relatively underpowered sometimes. And as for PvE hunters, I mean, Black Hole now is pretty much a must for most boss fights, and especially the raid. Same could be said with Vanish and Smoke when you need to just save yourself. And I like Courage of the Pack. Sorry, excuse me. I like Courage of the Pack, but I've heard of people using Lockdown at some point. I just like the extra recovery and armor because I always feel like uh, hunters get sort of gypped on armor. And not to mention, why can we not tweak these? Like, would it not make sense to have these tweakable? Say, you have 300 points. Like, this becomes your light, so you have 300 light. And then you go through and place, say, 150 in armor, 25 or 30 in recovery, and then the rest, 100 and whatever, in agility, and do it that way. Because I think that would make for much more customizable characters, and I feel like that would make it more personal. Because right now, while there's this sort of MMO style, um, it doesn't do anything to really customize. I mean, yeah, you have a little bit of facial customization, and you can now take your helmet off in social areas, which is kind of fun. But beyond that, there's not true MMO level style or MMO style customization, which is too bad because I think it could make for more interesting gameplay and would take, say, the bad hunters and people that can't play and can't build hunter properly, don't wouldn't play it. They'd play something else. And I figure the more choice they give us, the better off we're gonna be. But right now, it seems like they're trying to really cookie cutter us into what we need. That said, I do like this quest here where they have us going back into Vault of Glass for a reward. That is kind of fun, and I did enjoy doing that. But trying to grind out some of this other stuff, uh, just feels just feels a little ridiculous. I mean, even this where is it? This damn Jolly Holiday quest. There should be some way for someone who doesn't want to play, and I will try and get this and actually get this done to use it. But there should be a way for someone who doesn't want to play Crucible to get this weapon. Whether that be they grind out 250 strikes flawless in a row, or I realize it's crazy, but something along those lines. Because some of the quests now they're so intricate and bizarre that it's hard. I mean, getting Like, it doesn't actually tell you Shindig in the Crucible. Do Guardians in the Crucible, the last word equipped to boost your favor. You have no real idea what a scale is. Like, I wish someone could tell you a kill is 3% and a death is 1% off your score, or something along those lines. That would make it very clear, and people could sit down and accurately figure out what they had to do to really impress to get this quest. So I think they need to take a little bit of the guesswork out of it, but they also need to make year one more relevant. Not to mention, if I'm level 40, light level 300 character on any character, I should be able to go into the Cosmodrome original spawn area and almost never die. And somehow those like level 6 guys are able to can almost nearly kill me, which does not make sense. Because when we started in year one and you found that one little cave of knights that had the triple question mark, you couldn't even damage them. They were immune. So why is it reversed now? Why do they all of a sudden feel like, if you want me to patrol the Cosmodrome, either give me hard enemies to patrol that are at my level, or make me immune if I've spent the time to do it. So that's just my little rant on this year's thinking. Hopefully, Lunatic J and Jaeger will hop in and make a video of their own, just talking about some of their pros and cons, and we can get a good discussion going in the comments. But I'll see you guys next time. And if you have any questions for me, if you want to give me shit about not doing some of these, like, I've had this deposed court quest forever. Leave those in the comments too. I will try and get some of this harder stuff done. And I'll see you guys in the next video.